Hello there, Kev Blokey here from my Hot Wheels collection, here to do a review video on the Max Traxxx lane changes and to see just how compatible they are with the Hot Wheels Traxxx system. So let's take a look. This is the Max Traxxx dual lane racing lane changes. You get two in a box. I bought these from a seller here in the UK and the cost was around about £12, I believe. Postage was on top. I will post a link later so you can check out yourself. Obviously these are available internationally. Max Traxxx is part of an American company, Skullduggery, and they do a wide range of track sets and accessories, of which this is just one. I've been looking for some lane changes for some time for a track setup I have in mind, but unfortunately the Hot Wheels Danger Changer is very cost prohibitive nowadays. Being collector's items, you're looking at a price certainly on eBay of around about £100 to £150 plus shipping from the United States. Makes it really quite a cost prohibitive option. So therefore these retailing for as reasonably priced as they are, it was a bit of a no-brainer. Certainly worth taking a risk to see how it would work with the Hot Wheels system, and as you'll see in this video, I find it works very well. So this is the front of the box. You can see that the track is green in colour. It's actually luminous. It's lighter in colour than the box illustration would give you. And it features two cars. Now the Max Traxxx system is this remote control system where the cars are self-powered, which means obviously you don't have to have a downhill gravity-fed system, which I will be using it for. But it works just as well either with self-powered cars or with gravity-fed cars, in my experience. So that's the front of the box. Looking at the rear of the box now and then, it just shows you some of the other sets you can buy through Max Traxxx. They're all glow in the dark. You've got the showdown loops, curves, so on and so forth. Extra track pieces as well. The contents here, you might be able to see there, are 2 lane changes, 8 track connectors and 8 X blocks. We will look at all those in turn. And there is the website of the parent company, skullduggery.com, so do have a look at those when you get the chance. Okay, so opening the box then, we can tip out the contents. And the contents are 2 lane changes. You can see there 2 lanes coming in with the switcheroony or whatever you want to call it, and the 2 exit lanes, both same either end. There's no difference at all, so it doesn't matter which way round you have them. On the underside there are these block connectors for building bricks to connect to, and again we'll have a look at those. 2 of those, as I say, a bag of accessories. These include 8 track connectors, clearing, well, opaques or clearing colour. You will see, I'll try and put this out on a video, you will see that there are 2 lugs on one end, one there and one on the underside. There's also a second one at the other end, but you will notice that there's not a third one on the top, and the reason for that will become clear very soon. And also you've got 8 of these blocks which would connect to the various fixings underneath the track pieces if you wanted it on an incline or on a slope. You have those options, and with enough bricks you can also raise up enough to have it form a bridge if you want to run your cars underneath as well. They are the accessories. Let's have a look at these track joiners then, and I'll get a couple out of those. Oh, also it comes with an instruction leaflet. There's not really a lot you need to know, to be honest with you. Please retain packaging. Well, you may want to retain the instruction leaflet, but you probably don't need to retain the packaging. Anyway, It just mentions a lot really to do with the the radio control cars. more than the gravity fed sort of system. But it does a couple of things may mention worth mentioning here, that if you're using one of these lane changers in connection with their own curves have got built-in track connectors, and you can put your lane changer immediately afterwards and you use the connectors built into the curve. However, if you're connecting onto a straight piece of track, then you utilise the track connectors provided to connect. That kind of makes sense. Just reading down, as I said, there's various bits about self-powered cars, including yellow flag situations and all that old malarkey. The placement of these is quite interesting. Obviously, if you're running a loop system, you are going to need 2 of these lane changes to ensure that at each end of the loop, each car will have the advantage of the inside track. If you're doing it on a S-bend situation, basically for each second curve you need another lane changer, if that makes any sense, to ensure that each driver gets the advantage of the inside lane. But you know, you'll work it out yourself. It does say down the bottom there that it is compatible with other brands of Traxxx, and certainly we will be looking at that now. And there's again some of the other track pieces you can buy, and on the back is just an illustration of what you find in the pack and some legal mumbo jumbo down the bottom. Okay, so we will take one of our track connectors, and here one of the track pieces rather, and here are the track connectors. You'll see that there are these lugs, as I mentioned, and the lugs will collate with the holes in the track. Only thing I have found is when you connect in, there is movement. You might be able to pick that up there, that slight movement. Basically because the lug doesn't fully fill the hole. If you compare that to, say, a Hot Wheels piece of track, using one of their track connectors, when you fit that in, that fits in there quite snug, and there's really no movement at all. The only movement is my hand. Whereas looking at the Max Traxxx, there is a lot of movement. Is that a problem? Potentially yes, it can be, because if you now connect your Hot Wheels track and you leave it loose, you can see there, let's zoom in, you can see you've got quite a bit of movement. There is a way around that, and all you do is by keeping the track connector pushed towards the outer edge of the lane changer. If you now drive your Hot Wheels track all the way home, you will now get a nice snug fit. So it's, you know, it's not the end of the world, but it's just a little unfortunate that there is that play. Okay, so with the track connected, then if we now look along the sidewalls, you'll see it's actually quite a smooth transition. Although on the face of it, Max Traxxx, the actual track, is wider than the Hot Wheels track, I don't see any problems. Certainly, having tested this product, I've not encountered any problems with the difference in the widths. Certainly, if you just move a car along there is a slight bump between the sidewalls, but you could probably get around by just pinching the sidewalls in, and that would then obviously reduce that gap. The actual transition from one track to the other is as smooth as smooth. There's no speed bumps or anything to drive over there. And as I say, certainly when I've been using this product in anger, I've not noticed any incompatibility issues. So that's using Max Traxx's own track connectors and the newer type of Hot Wheels track. Now what I am demonstrating here is, because I'm an idiot, is I've actually used the track connector with the side where the 2 lugs on the top, and that now obviously creates a problem that I can't get the Hot Wheels track off very easy. So what you have to do is just peel it off from underneath just by flicking the side up there, if you can see, and then just peel it off. If I now do the same on the lane switcher, just force the side out and just peel it off, and then turn it the correct way up, reconnect the track, make sure it's in there nice and snug. Now when I want to separate the track, it's just a simple case of pulling the Hot Wheels track piece off. There's the gap. To get rid of that, just drive it home nice and snug, and that won't go anywhere now. As I said, to remove the track connectors from underneath, as per the instructions, all you do, you just kind of peel the track connector off one side, and then it will just flick out. This is quite a firm plastic, but it's not completely rigid. There is some play in there, so you shouldn't find it a problem. Obviously, younger members of the racing fraternity may need some adult help and supervision at this point, but us older members should not encounter any problems, as I say. If we wanted to use the Hot Wheels track connectors, this is the modern type with the push button in the middle, and that connects absolutely fine. Drives all the way home, because obviously once that button goes underneath, the lug no longer sits in that hole, so it will push all the way through. Will it work? It will work absolutely fine, as you can see, and that track's not going anywhere. There's no play in that at all. So that's using the newer type of connector. If we was to use the original type, the flat connectors, these are absolutely great for these. They fit in absolutely fine and snug, and you can connect your track all day long. That's using the modern Hot Wheels track, and even the older straight edge track that fits on there. Again, absolutely snug and fine. Now, going back to the Traxxx, so I've just not my phone for this. Going back to using the Traxxx connectors, showed you earlier that if you have the lug pointing up, is that a problem? Well, yes, it could potentially be, because if we now put the track over there, you may see, and I'll try and get the camera in on this. It'll probably be easier if I take the connector off. You'll see that lug actually creates a raise in the middle there, and it may create problems, particularly with your cars which are closer to the ground, because that track will no longer be flush and could cause a hazard in itself. Obviously, with the track connector turned over to the smooth side, if you now put that in place, you will see that that raise bit in the centre has completely disappeared. That's nice and flush now. So yeah, always if you are using their track connectors, and why wouldn't you, always make sure that when you're connecting to the Hot Wheels track, that you use the flush side on the underside of the Hot Wheels track, if that makes any sense. With the modern track, it's not so much of a problem. The lug will fit into the hole quite nicely there, and vice versa, and that is in there nice and tight. But the problem you do have then is removing the track connector from the Hot Wheels track, because you don't have that push button benefit in the middle there that you would do with the modern track joiner. But it's not the end of the world though, folks. Just peel it off, as I say, and you can then easily remove the track connector. Okay, so is Hot Wheels track compatible with the Traxxx system? Yes, is my answer, and that's based on testing at various speeds and on various setups. Would I mix the Hot Wheels track with the plain Traxxx track? No, because different wall heights and everything, you could start running into problems. However, the Hot Wheels track against these accessory items, and I've got a few of these Traxxx pieces now, they seem to work absolutely fine. As I said, I haven't got a piece of Max Traxx track with me, unfortunately. Well, I haven't got any full stop. Looking at pictures on the internet, it is wider. So the problem that now would create is that you're running into problems of hitting the end of the Hot Wheels track. The other problem it means is where you've got these 2-lane sections here, if you now try to connect it up against a Hot Wheels sort of fixed gap track connector, such as this 3D bot maker fin escape, you can see that there is absolutely no way that that is going to fit. You can just pick out the edge of the track connector on the second track there, and you can see the gap. It's there's absolutely no way you're going to get that to fit. So what you would then do is you would have a bridging piece of track between the Hot Wheels accessory and the Max Traxx, and I'll just demonstrate that. So we've got our 2 pieces tracking. You've now got this gap which you can use to your advantage, and if we just put a couple of track connectors in like so, we can then connect up that's it. Can then join up quite easy. As you see, you've got a gap at that end, but then that gap diminishes to fit into the 3D bot maker fin escape quite easily. Okay, so what they like, or what are they like rather, with Hot Wheels cars running up and down them? Well, let's have a quick look. I'll just put a couple of track connectors in the other side. Obviously you could, if you want to, connect 2 or more of these lane changes together, and that would give you a nice rapid lane changing sort of setup. But just for this demonstration purposes, I've put a couple of pieces of track this side as well, and we use the fin escape to give us a little bit of an incline. I'll just smooth that around. Yeah, do this. Smooth that around there, and run a couple of cars down. You'll get the idea of just how well it works. So we've got muscle tone here. Do that again. Other side. So I mean, this isn't, you know, this is sort of, I suppose, like the average speed they'll be going down. You can make it a bit steeper, give you a faster speed, and again it traverses absolutely fine. Go really steep now. No problem at all. Fun of these lane changes is the possibility for collisions. So if you was to have 2 cars running down at the same time, chances are they're going to collide when the 2 lanes merge into one, like so. The fun and unbridled joy they can bring is immeasurable. But obviously if they do come down at a slightly different rate, you now get that nice lane change over there, as you can see. So that is rather a review of the Max Traxx lane changes. They are glow in the dark for added fun. Retail price, as I say, off of eBay anyway, here in the UK was around about £12 plus, I believe, postage and packing. Obviously check prices in your own country. Are they worth a purchase? Thumbs up. Yep, definitely worth a purchase, and I will be looking at other Max Traxx accessories in future. Next video I'll do of Max Traxx will feature the 90-degree curves, so have a look out for that one. Oh, I didn't mention these X blocks. They're quite self-explanatory, but you've got your lugs underneath, and you can add these blocks to your desire, and that will then give you either a bank sort of slope there, or put them down to one end. Get in there, that's it. Put them down to one end, and you can build yourself a incline if that's what you so desire. And you get 8 of these blocks in total in the bag, so more than enough for the 2 sections you get in the pack. So I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it informative. Please remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I am running a tournament at the moment which I would really welcome your participation in, and there will be a prize for the eventual winner at the end. So nothing ventured, nothing gained. So hope to see you along at one of our tournaments in the near future. That's all for now. Hope you've enjoyed the video, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye. Bye folks, bye.